All right, guys, so we ran in and grabbed the Borescope. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce the name. It's that. If you can pronounce that, let me know. We're going to go ahead and open this thing up and see what it comes with. All right, right off the rip, guys, comes with a cool carrying case. That I really like. You know, I like being able to have a specific tool with its own case. That's awesome. Go ahead and open it up. Oh wow, this thing is cool. This looks like the scope itself. Set that aside. I'm sure there's, oh, there it is. And there's the monitor. Okay guys, so here's the monitor. Does come with an SD card, so I'm sure it records everything that you do. Also, USB charging, which looks like USB-C. So, like your regular new style iPhone will charge this thing up. So we're gonna go ahead and jam her on here. Looks like it's got a lock right here. So it just slips down just like that. And then we'll lock it together so it doesn't come off. And we'll fire her up. Oh, wow. Oh, hey camera lady. Wow, I'm really digging so far the definition of the camera. All right, guys, well, we're gonna take this thing out, go stick it in that gas tank in the car, and see how it works. I'm gonna fire this thing up and have a look inside this tank, which is really cool when you're doing, you know, rescues on cars. You'll know the condition of the gas tank. So far, I can see a lot of corrosion and stuff in the tank. All right. Well, guys, that tank looks pretty empty to me. I love the fact that the head is articulating. Then you can also reverse the angle. That looks pretty clean in there, guys. But it doesn't look like anybody left any fuel in there. Yeah, I'm looking back up at the fill neck. This thing's awesome. So guys, I want to send a huge shout out to Dextas for sending me this articulating Borescope. And if you guys want to get yours at 20% off, click the link in the description below for 20% off your Dextas Borescope. Now let's get back into the video. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. We are back out here in my and something a little bit different on this one, guys. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you probably do. I'm just a general automotive guy. I love cars. As you can tell, I've got a bunch of cars and sandrails and what have you. But today we are working on this. I went and picked this up this morning. This is a 1967 Mustang with a 289 with a 3-speed. And it has not ran in almost 20 years. It's been sitting. Looks like the last time it was registered was 08. So almost 20 years. This belongs to a good friend of mine, a guy I used to work for. This was his dad's car. His dad passed away and the car has been sitting ever since. So I'm gonna make it run for him. I'm gonna do a little will it run video on this deal and see if we can't get it up and running and driving for him. So we're gonna start with the fuel system and what have you. First thing we're gonna do is get it off of my trailer. We're halfway done there, and get it into the shop, get it up on the lift. I'm gonna pull the rims and tires off because he's got some new tires coming for this thing. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna dive into the motor and all the mechanics of it. We'll get into it. So guys, we're gonna get this thing off the trailer and we'll jump right back into it. Love my winch. All right, guys, we're gonna get this thing huffed into the shop and up on the lift. We got her in the shop. Sherry and Brianna helped me push her in. And we're gonna go ahead and put her up in the air, get a look underneath. And we'll look at the inside in just a minute. We'll start with underneath. We don't have keys, so we can't get into the trunk yet. But I am gonna take this cylinder out and go have a key made for this thing. I'll take the ignition out as well. I did get a set of keys with the car, but they're not the right ones. Apparently the owner, the late owner, had several of these Mustangs. And the keys I got were labeled 65 Mustang. This is a 67. All right, well, first glance underneath her, Definitely a California or Arizona car. There is no rust on this thing anywhere. And I mean anywhere. Solid, frame solid. Solid as can be. It's got a set of headers on it. And some cherry bombs back here, or glass packs. And wow, I'm really impressed. This thing's really, really clean underneath. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh no, that's just up to the seats. That's good. No rust whatsoever. So either a California, Arizona car. Plated here in Arizona, and it's probably an Arizona car. So 289 with a 3-speed, so this thing should friggin' rip. But like I said, guys, so far so good. I haven't seen anything I'm really worried about except for that Fram oil filter. Other than that, we are going to see if we can't get this thing to spin over and run a little bit here. It's definitely going to need bushings. As you guys can see, the Arizona dryness has gotten to these bushings. Bushings in my Chevelle are new, and they're already looking like that. So it is definitely dry out here. Definitely going to need bushings or what have you. My job right now is just to get this thing to run and drive for him, and then we might be doing some interior work. I am going to pull the wheels off because he's got new tires coming for it. So we'll get those off for him. But let's bring it back down, open up the hood, and take a look at what powers this. In a few minutes, I'm gonna decode the trim tags and see what this car came with and see if it was a factory 289 car. I know a lot of these 3-speed cars came with a straight 6, so we're gonna look at that. But I did notice starting to get a little bit of rust under the vinyl top here, which is pretty common for these cars. A little bit on that side as well, but luckily it's not that bad. It's probably just surface rust and starting to get through the vinyl. So I suggested that he take the vinyl top off and have this, take the window out and have this cleaned up and then have a new vinyl top put on it, which is not too expensive. But yeah, that'll take care of those little rust issues. Really common on these Mustangs to get it if it had a vinyl top on it, water gets trapped. I really would like to get into the trunk and see the floors, but again, I'm not going to do that until I get a key made. Looks like it has been crunched here in the past. A little bit of Bondo there, but overall, guys, this thing is clean. Really, really clean car. So let's jump under the hood and see what powers this thing. All right, there she is. V8, I don't know if it's a 302 or a 289. I'm going to look at the numbers here before too long. Looks like it's got an aftermarket air conditioning setup on it. Got some Ford Motorsport valve covers, Trick air cleaner, and it looks like just a little 2-barrel on this thing. So more than likely probably a 289. Somebody made a block-off plate for the fuel pump, so it's probably got an electric clicky-clack pump in it somewhere. I am going to dig in and try to find that. It's probably out back. But MSD blaster, coil. We're going to get rid of probably most of that and just go to a conventional ignition system. Make this thing run. And yeah, guys, so far so good. Let's see what's on the old back here, hidden behind the AC compressor. But oh, looks like pretty clean oil. Smell test. Smells like clean oil. Doesn't even smell like fuel. Let's see if it's got coolant. She's dry as a bone, boys. So we're gonna have to address that. But like I said, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make sure the motor spins over before I do anything. And then I got a battery around here somewhere we can throw in this thing and see if we can't hit the old solenoid and so we can't get this thing to spin over. First thing we're gonna wanna do, take off the old air cleaner. This one doesn't have a an air inlet tube on it, so I don't think any critters have been living in here. I think we're gonna get pretty lucky there. Wow, this thing's tight. And it's only got a 2-barrel on it. So probably it's a 289 2-barrel deal. Yep, so all right, let's have a look. Let's make sure the throttle linkage is not all jacked up on us. And it looks like carburetor is completely dry. Yeah, it's an Autolite carburetor, so it's factory. Cool. There has been some critters in there. You can see they were getting a little food source there, but that's cool. Throttle linkage is not locked up, so that's a plus. Everything looks good here. So we're gonna go ahead and pop a battery in this thing, see if we can't turn her over. She's got. Oh, look at that. All right. So probably just smoked all the output of my little jump box there, but we're gonna go ahead and run over to O'Reilly's and we're gonna pick us up a battery for this thing. All right, we're back from O'Reilly's. Picked us up a new battery. We're gonna go ahead and get her hooked up and see if we can't get this thing turned over. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Sounds rather healthy too. See if it's got an oil pressure gauge in it or not. Just the stock one. Let's have a look. See if I can't jump the ignition from out here. Throw a little juice down the yap and see if we can't get her to pop off. Looks like they made some sort of homemade transistor stuff here for the ignition. The condenser was in here disconnected, and it looks like they were running power through the points, and then it was going, and it's shooting 12 volts to the coil versus shooting ground. So I'm going to switch it back up to normal. I'm going to ground the points, or the points will go to the distributor ground, and then we'll ground the condenser, and it feeds a ground from here, and then hot to the coil side, and this thing should spark right. So I put a hot wire on that side of the coil. I put the negative side of the points to there, and then we're going to go ahead and hook this back up. Here's my hot wire to the coil. We are going to stick that. Sorry, I don't have a clip on for that one. Oh yeah, it's hot. So then as we turn it over, you'll see the spark on the points. Points are sparking. Gonna put the cap back on, throw some juice down the yap, and fire this. The guys use brake clean, they spray it down there. This has got a little bit of 2-stroke oil in it, so I'm gonna pour a little bit down there. And these motors are totally dry, so been sitting for 20 years. I don't want anything unlubricated and some sort of dry fuel in the carburetor. I know there's a big argument online about it, but this is what I choose to do, so that's what I'm gonna do. Here we go. Oh, let me get that out of the way. Let's see if that got down there. Let's try this again. It's hot. All right, these points might be dirty. Let's get them cleaned up. More fuel down the carburetor there. We're gonna, oh yeah, we got spark now. I'm gonna hook up our coil here. Give her hell. Come on, girl. Keep losing spark. So I think we might have a bad set of points here. I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart, clean them again. And it's looking like we got a weak spark here, boys. And I'm boiling it down to this MSD blaster coil. It's been sitting for almost 20 years. I went ahead and pulled the coil wire off and threw it like close to a ground down here. Nothing for spark coming out of this coil. So we're gonna go ahead and ditch this thing, go pick us up another coil. Excuse my dirty workbench here, but went ahead and got my multimeter out. We're gonna test this coil, show you guys how to do it. Just set your coil to ohms, and we're gonna go across the positive and negative terminal. And you can go online and look up the specs for your coil. For a Blaster 2, I think it's 0.7 ohms. So I'm gonna set the phone up here and see what we get. What we got across primary and secondary, or positive and negative, is 1.0, and it should be around 0.7. So it's not that bad off, but it is off. 0.9, 1.0. Now let's check the probe in the tower and then go into the hot side, and we should be at, I think it's 47 kilo ohms. And we are at 11.45 kilo ohms. So this coil is definitely shot, boys. So I'll run down to O'Reilly's, pick us up a new one, and go from there. All right, guys, I'm gonna bring you on inside here. I went ahead and replaced the coil, and I replaced the points and the condenser inside. Like I said earlier, we're gonna go ahead and throw some true fuel down the yap here. Just give it a little oomph. That's way too much, which is always awesome. And then we're gonna turn this thing over and see if she fires up. So here we go, boys. She's a runner. So we're gonna figure out now a more permanent fuel system and see if we can't get this thing to idle on its own. So yeah, that's what 20 years of dirt looks like, boys. But she is definitely a runner. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that. I am going to go ahead and rig up a fuel system here. I know this thing's got an electric pump in it, and it's got some really old gas in it. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the fuel line up here at the carburetor, turn on that electric pump, and try to pump out all that fuel. We'll pump it out up here, see what it looks like. I know it smells horribly. I already checked it, but that's where we're at, man. Mustang runs, so we should be able to drive this thing before too long. Check this out, guys. I got this thing ripped out of there. It's almost like he made his own, like, MSD ignition box. This is some old school electronics there. Transistors, resistors. Yeah, it's like he made his own MSD box. Pretty cool. All right, so I was removing this police siren and things. Right down there, where that mark was, I found an old school hide key. Guess what's in there? That's the keys for the car, boys. So don't have to get the thing keyed after all. We got us a set of keys. Sweet. Well, since we found the keys, we're able to get the trunk open. There's the electric fuel pump. Old pump. We're probably going to replace that. I might even just put a mechanical back on the motor, just so it's reliable. But that'll allow us to put the car up in the air, put an empty dump can down there. I'm going to disconnect the fuel line here and then just dump it into the can and start pumping that old fuel out of the tank. I turn the pump on and we're not getting anything. So more than likely the pickup is trashed in the tank. I'm going to go ahead and shut this pump off real quick. Disconnect it back here, blow some air through the pickup and see if we can't make something happen. All right, well, maybe this thing's empty after all. In here, I'm going to click that electric fuel pump on. I do have the fuel line disconnected up front, and I'm going to run it into a barrel just to make sure I don't shove any junk into the carburetor. So, cool gas caps. There, it sounds like it picked up that fuel. Starting to get a little fuel. And looks pretty clean, guys. Well, as yellow as the fuel is that I put in there. So we're gonna get this thing hooked back up, see if we can't get her fired up. All right, I'm gonna have her turn it on again. That way it fills up the float bowl here, and then we'll see if we can't get this thing fired up. Go ahead and turn it on. All right, guys, so everything looked good. The accelerator pump's working. I'm gonna go ahead and power up the coil and see if we can't get this thing to start and idle and run on her own. First time in 20 years, guys. Here we go. No way. Wow, no shot that this thing fired up that easily for the first time in almost 20 years. Friggin' cool. Guys, it did have a little bit of a lifter tick. It's gonna take a little while for all the oiling to get up there. It should quiet it down. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some coolant in this thing, some water for now, and then we're gonna do a complete fluid flush and change on this car. But man, how cool is that? For the first time in 20 years, the accelerator pump worked. It almost looked like someone drained the fuel tank and ran the carburetor empty just for that exact reason. So that fuel that I put in there is not that good either. And this thing fired right up. So, dude, friggin' awesome. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and throw some coolant in this thing or water and we'll fire it up again. All right, got everything hooked back up to the key. I'm gonna jump in here and see if we can't fire this thing up from inside. Here we go, boys. Wow. Got good oil pressure. Charging. Have to look at this tack and see what's going on with that, but Oh my God, she idles, boys. How freaking cool is that? All right, we're gonna throw some water in this thing. Like I said, I'll go through all the fluids after we get her running and driving. Well, it definitely wasn't empty. Took about a gallon. But all right, we're gonna go fire this thing back up, boys, and let it idle for you. Freaking birds. I am definitely impressed, guys, for a car that's been sitting for 20 years. I wish I had smell-o-vision so you could smell the old fuel. The fuel I put in it was kind of old too, and mixed in with the varnish that was in the tank. But I'm gonna go ahead and cap this off. Ow! 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 With the no cover on the clutch fan, about cut my finger off. Whew. Boy, that would have been a bad one. It hurts, but it didn't cut me. Thank God. So we'll let this thing run for a little while. It's going to let all the gaskets kind of come back around. And, damn, that hurt. But we'll get this thing all cleaned up, and hopefully the water pump don't start leaking. "20 years of sitting." Well, it hasn't been registered since 2008. So almost 20 years. And from what I understand, when it was registered, it still wasn't being driven. So, all right, boys. Well, we're going to jump in this thing, fire it up, see if we can't back it out of the shop. Oh. Clutch feels okay, and the brakes feel okay, so we'll give her a whirl. See if I can't make it up to the gas station in this thing. Go ahead and fire it up. Make sure she's in nooch. Phenomenal, boys. Thing fires right up. Friggin' boys, awesome. Here we go. First drive in, I think, 16 years or so. 16 or 17 years. The brakes pull a little to the right, but that's okay. Get the 1-2 shift. Nice. Oh yeah, she's got a little juice to her too, boys. Oh yeah, brakes pull hard right. Definitely got a brake issue, maybe a stuck caliper. Maybe she'll free up after a bit. Here we go. So I did put about a gallon and a half or so in this thing. So we should make it to the gas station, get some fresh fuel in this thing. Just to the gas station and back, and it'll let that old oil circulate through the motor and what have you, so we can get it all drained out of here. And then let's get this thing cleaned out on the inside, and she'll be a runner. She's a ripper, boys. Nice. And we made it to the gas station. Just gotta watch those brakes, boy. They'll rip that wheel right out of your hand. So definitely gonna need a caliper or something. We'll check it out. Successful first drive for the Mustang in almost 16 years. I was going to film at the gas station when I was filling up, but for some reason just a million people gathered around this car and wanted to check it out. It was crazy. But like I said, that's going to wrap it up for the Mustang. She's a runner. We're going to dump the fluids, get this thing cleaned up, and back to the owner, and he'll be able to enjoy it after not running for over 16 years. So, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give us a like and a subscribe. You really want to help out this channel, click that subscribe button. That means a lot to me, guys. Trying to get to 100,000, and I got a long journey ahead of me. So click that subscribe button, share with your friends, and we will see you guys in the next video.